Why I'm done being quiet about being a realistic dad. The parenting world is full of guys in suits, or better yet, full of guys that are pretending to look and be like us, but they don't live our lives.
You see, by applying the principles of quantum physics to your parenting style, you can manifest a harmonious household.
For a long time, I made videos for every dad out there. Well, today, I'm done with that. I'm making videos for a specific dad, a guy who doesn't care about the hustle culture or finding life's balance. He's too busy surviving and leading his family. That's you, and that's me. From this day forward, this channel, Build Better Dads, is his war room. Let me explain. Look at the advice out there. Look at the advice that we're getting from the people that we're getting it. We don't know if they really got a job or if they're somebody propped up in front of us that some bigger corporation got them dressed up to look like us playing a cosplay of a real dad, a real man, a blue collar man, making content that's supposedly for you. But have they ever worked a 12-hour shift? Have they ever worked 7 days straight, 2 weeks straight, come home to a son who needs discipline, a wife who needs a break, a wife who needs somebody to lead the house? Is this the guy you're listening to? Are you listening to some guy who looks the part but don't know shit about what I just said? Who you can honestly look in the eye and say, I don't think you've done half the stuff that I had to do this week. And now I'm spending my time watching this video.
Flash out mansion, general life coach. Get rich quick.
Trying to learn how I can get ahead and put my family ahead. And I'm wasting my time listening to you. The big lie that they tell us is that being a provider is just a paycheck. Being a provider, yeah, you gotta be a paycheck. You gotta bring home the bacon, but it's a lot more than that. We're being ignored because our lives are too real. I'm making this channel, this podcast, Build Better Dad. It's for you. It's for the guy who feels like he's being ignored. But we don't care about that because we're going to make ourselves heard. From not just from videos, not just from podcasts, from what we do. Because your children don't give a damn about what you say. It's what you do. I didn't learn this in a boardroom. I learned this drowning in $118,000 in debt. That's where I learned this. That's where I had to pick myself up off the floor. Because ain't nobody coming to save you. Just like there's nobody who came to save me. I started this because there was no one out there talking to me. But you got to find a person that you can relate to. And I know there are a bunch of men who can relate to what I'm saying. Let me tell you who's behind the camera. 6 years ago, I was drowning in debt. I didn't even know how much debt I was in. To be honest with you, I didn't even know how much. I just knew I was in debt like a motherfucker. I didn't even know how much I was in. Hell, I just really just did the numbers. Because when you in that much debt, you don't even want to know how much you in.
I don't want to know how much it is.
To be honest, you don't want to know how much debt you in. I didn't even want to know. That's why I didn't know, because I didn't want to know. And I had to come to grips with myself and understand that nobody's coming to save me. No video, no person. There was no one out there that I could relate to. And hell, you too ashamed to tell anybody. So if you come to me, you do a one-on-one with me, I'm probably willing to bet you that anything you've done that you're ashamed of, I've done it too. Maybe one, more, 2 or 3 times. Okay? So don't worry about it. We here to get right. And when you don't got no money, and when your pockets are on E, it looks and it sounds a lot like this.
When a man money ain't right, ain't nothing right in his life. Am I talking to you, bro? Like when your money ain't right, ain't nothing right. Food don't taste the same. You don't want to breathe. Nothing. Baby, it's all right. Don't tell me it's all right no more. I'm broke.
The turning point. I had to take my life back. I had to get up off the floor and take my life. I had to start studying the game. Not some get rich quick scheme, crypto, options trading, sports betting, whatever type of other type of trading you want to know. None of that. Because you trying to beat the market is a loser's game. Okay? It's a loser's game. The casino always wins. In lottery, any lottery you always play, the government always wins. And if you trying to beat the market, it's a loser's game. The market always wins. Okay? If you don't believe me, F around and find out. F around and find out. Any one of those. The house always wins. The government always wins. Whether it comes to gambling or taxes or whatever, they always win. They gonna get your ass. And in the market, you're never going to beat the market. You're never going to consistently beat the market. You are not. Stop trying. Stop listening to people who tell you that you can. They're lying to you.
I can help you beat the market. My course and training program guarantee results. Consistency is what I teach. I am just here for the easy cash.
I had to realize that my kids didn't need just a dad. They needed a family CEO. So I had to get to work to build a blueprint for me and for you guys. When I start talking about this, here and there, I would get messages from guys who could relate. The guys with calluses on their hands, the guys who don't get that much sleep, the guys who get broken up sleep. Anybody out there work third shift who don't get 8 hours of straight sleep? I've been doing it for 18 years. I know. 18 years on third shift. How many of your gurus, how many of the guys doing these other podcasts can tell you that? How many guys can tell you they worked 18 years and for the last 5 years they worked damn near seven days straight? The only days they all have off are the vacation days or the personal time that they take off. That's me. Because you don't get out of debt with schemes and different scams and different theories. You get out of debt with discipline. You get out of debt with a framework, with structure. That's how you get out of debt. That's what I'm here to help. So if you want to know, well, how are you going to help me? Huh? I'm going to help you with the discipline that you need, because the 3 areas that we like to focus on all need discipline. You have to have discipline in order to be your family CEO. We're installing a new operational standard for your home. You know, when the new manager come in, the new plant manager, the new warehouse manager, the new manager comes in, they want to install, the new coach comes in for a team, they want to install a new culture. That's what they do. They want to install a new culture. That's what we're doing. We're installing a new culture. You're the family CEO. It's time to install a new culture. And the family CEO framework is broken down into 3 areas. Legacy, money. That's number 1. I see all these different podcasts and parenting podcasts, but nobody talks about money. Let's keep it real, man. If you getting your kids ready for the real world, you have to talk to them about money. And you have to be equipped to talk about it. I wasn't equipped to talk about money 5 or 6 years ago. What? How to, F up 118,000. What was I going to teach them? How to go in debt? I had to study the game. I had to see which type of investor, which type of role model I wanted to be. We want to kill debt. And we want to defend our dollars. And we want our dollars to work for us. And how you do that, you say this one simple thing to yourself. It's simple, but the simple things we don't do. The things that we should do, we know we don't do. And you say this: why shouldn't I be stopped from buying this?
Nah, I'm good.
I don't care if it's a new pair of sneakers. I don't care if it's a new hat. I don't care if it's a new car. You should ask yourself, and you should when you envision this, you should have your wife there, your kids there, hell, your mama there, your dad. You should be able to defend this. Why shouldn't I be stopped from buying this? And you should be able to defend that to all of them. And if you can't, then you shouldn't buy it. Then you shouldn't buy it. Instead of taking that money that you would use for that, because first of all, you got to take care of your responsibilities. We're not talking about the money the mortgage, the rent, the food. We're not talking about that money. If you can't even do that, you better get your ass off this video, man. But that money that you will be spending towards that is the money that you can use to invest in the VTI ETF, in the VBR ETF. That's Vanguard. That's the total stock index. And that's the small cap value index. Now, you don't have to use Vanguard. You can use Fidelity. You can use Charles Schwab. You can use wherever you learn how to invest. And if you don't know how to invest, hell, we can teach you. But all that extra money you're spending on stuff that you can't even defend, that's the legacy money. We don't do the alpha nonsense, the red pill nonsense here. We don't do that. I see all these little tough guys and, sounding like they might not be red pill, but you might as well be. Tell your son to beat up and punch anybody that messes around, all that stupid stuff. No, we control our tempers. We control our tempers because your temper is nothing but your insecurity. That's all it is. We control our tempers so we can control our homes. And by doing that, we show our sons how to be unbreakable men and what it looks like to be one. See, if somebody can control your temper, like this Chud dude was running around calling people the N-words and doing all this stuff to people, look what that got him. I'm sure we think about people that you have beefs with and all that stuff, but when you really think about it, if you really think about it, it's like, man, is it even worth it? Is it even? I'm not talking about defending your family. I'm talking about having a temper and all this alpha male and all this red pill stuff. Nah, man, that's going nowhere. Show your son how to be unbreakable. And like I said before, kids don't care about what you say, it's what you do. They're watching you. So if you can't control your temper, he ain't gonna be able to control his. When he out there on the field, on the baseball field, or on the basketball court, and he can't control himself, it's because you can't control yourself at home. That's the legacy manhood segment. So we got the legacy money, we got the legacy manhood, and now we're talking about the legacy fatherhood. The legacy fatherhood is simple. We don't raise our kids by accident. We are intentional. You need to be intentional. Teaching him the 10 skills to be an unbreakable son, the 10 skills to be an unbreakable man, the 10 skills to be an unbreakable young lady, the 10 skills to help them survive in the real world. And if you don't know what the real world is, then you got more issues than I can probably help you with. Because I want you to treat your home like the most important organization I want you to treat your homes like the most important organization on this earth. That's big. We go to all these other places. We join all these other groups and all these other organizations, and then you can't treat that organization more important than the one that you're forming at home, the one that you started at home. Do not treat any job, any club, any other organization, any group more important than the organization you walk into every day after work. Your home. Don't you dare do it. And that's a message to myself. Nothing is more important than what I'm trying to build here on YouTube and what this podcast is not more important than when I walk upstairs to my family. Because if I'm not being the man that I'm asking you to be, I'm a damn hypocrite and I'm going to be found out. AKA Cheyenne Bryan, but that's something else. If you want a polished, fake version of fatherhood, tune in to somebody else's podcast. Tune in to somebody else's podcast that's not going to tell you about money. That's not going to tell you about fatherhood and relationships and teaching your son or daughter about relationships. Develop discipline for yourself and help you be able to discipline your children. Those are some of the most important things to being a father. Because if you don't teach your children about money, they're going to resent you for that. If you don't teach your children about relationships, a lot of the people that go no contact with their parents is due to a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, because they let that person get in between and tell them things about their family, and now they don't want to have nothing to do with it. But if you would have talked about relationships, if you would have talked about or showed them a good relationship between you and your wife, you and a mother, the most important thing into raising a child is the relationship of the parents. You teaching your kids about relationships, the relationship that you and a mama got, whether you with her or you aren't with her. You teaching them about relationships right there, whether you like it or not. But if you want the survival mindset, if you want the skills to get out of debt, like I said, $118,000 worth of debt. What did I do? What did it take? I'm not all the way out, but I'm almost there. Pull up a chair. Hit subscribe. Let me know what shift you work down in the comments. You working 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours? You working 4 days on, 3 days off? You a truck driver, you gone for 2 weeks, home for a weekend? Let me know, because this is the channel for you. I'm done talking to everybody else. I'm talking to the man that I can relate to. And if you can't relate to that, like I said, turn me off. Go watch somebody else. I don't give a fuck. And I'm out. Peace.